Hey everyone, it's Finn here. So this week we're talking about the silent T in the LGBT. I'm kind of ambivalent when it comes to whether the T should be included in the LGBT. In some ways I feel like it shouldn't be because, I mean, as far as being transgender goes, society has very little knowledge of it, or they're not educated very well on the matter. I think that being teamed up with LGB is sort of, I don't know, maybe I'm just plucking this out of my arse, but it's sort of perpetuating this idea that being trans is some sort of, it's something to do with sexuality. Because I mean, when I've spoken to people about being trans or being trans in general, like what that means, there's often a misconception that it somehow ties in when it's actually completely separate. Coming at it from that point of view, I think that it should be separated, but in saying that, a lot of stuff to do with being trans is so deeply rooted in within sexuality. I think that, gender politics and sexuality is kind of intertwines an awful lot. Um, and I also think that for all for all the trans community complains about a lack of awareness, and a lack of support from the rest of the community, I kind of think that it would almost be detrimental for the trans community to be separated because there's so few of us. I sort of feel like we can sort of hitch a ride on the tailcoat of, or is that the word? Just, yeah, you know what I mean. Like if we kind of go along with the gay community, then chances are we're gonna get heard eventually. I think that with everything that's been going on recently to do with gay marriage, I think that's kind of been like the front seat, and everything else has just been kind of put to the side. But I think that, I mean, I hope eventually that what will happen is that trans rights will kind of eventually get to the forefront of the agenda for the LGBT community. But yeah, I think that there's so few of us that I don't know if we would be able to be heard in the same way that we possibly could, uh, being a part of, LGBT. But it's the fact that we're not really being heard right now while we are a part of it. So it's kind of tricky. It's an interesting topic. Everyone's got their own opinion on it. It's a good thing to have a conversation about. Um, but the thing that I kind of want to point out as well is that it's not just the T that's silent, the Q is also silent. I went to Edinburgh Pride last weekend, and there was no Q, and there was no T either. We went to this part of the Pride thing that was going on, and they had this thing set up where you could buy T-shirts and badges and stuff like that. And we went over and asked if they had any T-shirts for trans people, and they didn't have any. And this is how clueless the LGBT community is about trans issues and trans awareness, because when we challenged the woman who was running the stall thing, she said, no, we don't have any, but I mean, this caters for everyone, it's all inclusive. And the T-shirts were not all inclusive. They were all talking about gay marriage, and it was all gay. I mean, it could possibly be inclusive for bi people, possibly, but there was nothing there for trans people, and there was nothing there for queer people either. Um, so I was really, really disappointed that day. Uh, but in a couple of weeks I'll be going to Dublin Pride, so we'll see how that pans out. It'd be interesting to hear what everyone else thinks about this topic. Because yeah, it's something I've been thinking about recently, especially when I went to Pride the other week, and was actually going to make a video sort of related to it while I'm at Dublin Pride. So yeah, it would be good to get people's feedback on it. Okay, everyone, I'm going to go now, and if you're all doing your Pride event things, then I hope you're having a good time, and if you're not, then I hope you're doing well anyway, and yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye bye.